Thanks for tuning in to our bonus episode preview. This is just a short sample of this week's exclusive Patreon episode. You can hear the episode in its entirety by becoming a member at patreon.com/IndoctriNation, where you'll gain access to all of our exclusive episodes and merchandise. Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for your support, for your unwavering support of the podcast. It is so moving. It is so wonderful. And here is another bonus episode for you. So today we're going to be talking about consent. There are a lot of people who are confused about that idea of consent, and there are a lot of people who have had the idea of consent used against them as a manipulative tool. There's an organization where I interviewed some of the people from the organization on the podcast from the Consent Awareness Network, which is a very interesting organization. And they do really good work, and they've been able to explore some of the ideas of consent and something that we're going to talk about at the end that has been this wonderful and very important addition to this discussion. So many people think, well, I've already agreed to come to this party, so I know someone's handing me a drink, so I might as well drink it because anyway, I'm already here as though I've given my consent. Or I've already married this person, even though after we were married, I found out that he was abusive or she was abusive or they already had another family. But I already signed up for this in front of God and everyone, and so somehow I'm giving my consent. There's something about being able to be informed, being able to make a fully educated decision that is a very important part of consent. But it is important to know what we're talking about when we talk about consent, because just wearing something in particular or just being somewhere in particular, and just saying yes to one thing doesn't necessarily mean that you're giving your consent for other things happening to you that you normally would not give your consent for, or that are unhealthy or unsafe or that are damaging to you. Consent needs to be something that you give voluntarily, freely, without coercion, without pressure. It needs to be informed. It needs to be based on a clear understanding of what you are consenting to. It needs to be enthusiastic, meaning you have said yes to something, and it's not just the absence of having said no that somehow you gave your consent, because that happens a lot where people will say, well, but you didn't say no, so I figured it was okay. Well, no. Just not saying something doesn't mean that you meant the opposite. The other thing is that it needs to be specific. You might be hit on by someone at a party, but again, did you give your consent to be hit on by that person or to have them pressure you? Just because you went to the party? No, you gave your consent to go to the party, and that's all you specifically gave your consent for. Consent also needs to be revocable, so it can be withdrawn at any time. Very important part of this. There is so much that happens where there is this sense of obligation, and that somehow you've said yes to something and you have to then follow through. So there's a difference between genuine consent and compliance born out of fear, obligation, or guilt, FOG, fog, sort of born out of this fog. Genuine consent comes from free choice with free and full information. Fog-based compliance involves making choices under duress. So manipulators will get you into the fear, obligation, and guilt part of this and will make you have this illusion that you're making a choice while at the same time removing real alternatives, real freedoms.